Hello, spooky pals. I'm Coral. I have a foxtail stuck in my pants. Welcome back to my channel once more. Welcome back. Hello. I'm here with the books that I'm planning on reading in April. I cannot believe it's April already. So my TBR for this month is almost solely new releases and arcs that I need to get to. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Although there are a couple here that, you know, are not because of various other things I have going on. So books that are not new releases or arcs. I'll start with Dark Orbit by Carolyn Ives Gilman, and this one is on my TBR because the buzzword for the month is not a specific word, but space words. So I picked Orbit. This is a book that was recommended to me by one of you lovely people. If that was you, let me know. Thank you so much for this recommendation. So Dark Orbit, from the synopsis, seems to be about these people who go to explore a planet, and on this planet something happens and most of the crew is murdered. There is one sole survivor, and of course she's gonna get to the bottom of whatever's going on this planet. This seems right up my alley, like a space horror that takes place in outer space, like on a foreign planet, and it sounds like it's gonna be a blast. It's not too long. I think this will be a great way to start my month. I've also got my 5-star prediction for this month. This is the Cipher by Kathe Koja, and this is about a couple who finds this hole, and they call it the fun hole, and when they throw things in it, the things disappear, and they're compelled to like throw more and more things. And I think at one point maybe someone sticks a body part in there. I don't know, I haven't read it, but I've never read Kathe Koja's books before, which is a travesty because I've heard so only good things about her books, and this one specifically, this one was really hard to find for a long time because it was out of print, but Meerkat Press, right? Yeah, Meerkat Press did a reprint of it, and it came in a Nightworms package, but I would have bought it anyways because I've been dying to read this one. But I got my hands on it anyways, you know, no matter what, and I'm very excited to get to this. I really hope that it meets my expectations. I think it will. We'll see. Then I would like to get to The Mask Falling by Samantha Shannon, and this is the most recent release in her Bone Season series. I've been reading the series, and when I complete this one, I'll be caught up, and I'll be so proud of myself because that's a series that I've been hanging on to for a long time and buying, and I didn't even know if I would really like it because I'd only read the first book. So I have really liked it so far, the first and second book especially. The third one was okay, but not quite as exciting as the first two. Anyways, the plot of this is that in a not too distant future-y dystopian timeline of the planet Earth, there is this government in the UK called Scion, and there are also these people in our world, in this world, called voyants, and they are people who are able to use various forms of occultomancy, like reading cards or controlling angels or poltergeists, being able to send people pictures in their minds and stuff like that. But it's very dangerous to be a voyant because this government will find you and they will murder you if you're lucky. But if you're not, you might get sent away, and that's what the first book is about. So we continue on from there. This is the fourth one. I hope it's a great one. I think this might be my favorite of all the covers. They're just all so beautiful, and they all have this Scion mark thing on them. I don't know, just beautiful books. I'm also planning on picking up The Children's Blizzard by David Laskin. I actually borrowed this from my sister-in-law, and she texted me one day and she's like, have you read this book? And I was like, no. Is there a reason I would have? And she's like, oh, it's about this blizzard that took place in the Midwest, in like Minnesota specifically, and it like happened when a bunch of kids were walking home from school and like it killed a bunch of kids. And honestly, I was very surprised that I hadn't heard of this at all, because like I said, it happened where I grew up. So I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a weird thing to love. But I really love like historic tragedies, tragic events. Yeah, like I've recently read The Indifferent Stars Above, that was about the Donner Party, which was fantastic. Last month I read a history on the Black Plague, and this will be like a little history on what they call the Children's Blizzard. I have a couple new releases and arcs that I need to get to this month. This was an arc I won from Goodreads. This is The Blacktongue Thief by Christopher Buehlman, and this is a book where there's like lots of weird stuff happening, like goblins eating people and stuff like that, and a thief and a... is there a synopsis for this on the back? It's like a thief and a knight, a lady knight or something like that, team up together. So yeah, they have to like team up to survive. They take an epic journey. It actually sounds like it's going to be so fun. Like I really make sure when I'm entering Goodreads giveaways, it's really easy to get excited and, you know, enter every giveaway, but I want to make sure that I'm only requesting books that I for sure want to read, because, you know, the author has to pay to do that. So this sounds great. It sounds like it's going to be a dark fantasy. There seems like there's going to be a lot of different strange creatures, krakens, goblins, obviously like thieves and stuff like that. It sounds like it's going to be so much fun. I've said that like 40 times, but it really does. I'm excited to get to it. This comes out in May. I'll let you know. I'm going to do a review for that when I'm done and let you all know what I think about it. Then I have The Lost Village by Camilla Sten, which I meant to read last month, but it literally came in the mail like 2 days ago. So like there was no way I was going to finish it in March. This seems like it's going to be kind of like the Blair Witch Project meets the Lost Colony of Roanoke, because this is about a documentary crew who is investigating this very strange historical event where a whole village disappeared except for like 2 people, and one of them I believe ended up dying shortly after everyone disappeared, and the other one was a tiny baby, which ended up being, I think, the filmmaker's like great-grandma or something like that. So they're investigating this. This is a book. It's a translation, which like when I talked about this month, I was so last month. When I talked about this last month, I was very confused because I was like, this says it came out already. And I couldn't figure it out. And then I was like, oh duh, this is a book that is not from the US. Oh my gosh, this woman is my age? She looks so put together compared to me. Holy shit. Okay, so she's Swedish and she looks very fucking distinguished from her author's picture. I can't believe that this woman is the same age as me, because she looks so adult and put together, and I'm just a schlub making videos on YouTube. Not that that's not an honorable you know, thing to do. This is translated by Alexandra Fleming. So this is The Lost Village. I hope it's as good as I'm hoping it is. Okay, so the next 2 books I'd like to tell you about are books that I have as art copies. The first one is Certain Dark Things by Silvia Moreno-Garcia, if that name sounds familiar to you, but you can't figure out why. It's because she wrote Mexican Gothic, which was a really great book. So Certain Dark Things comes out in September, and it's actually a reprint of a book that was published in 2016. The cover is amazing, and I think that this is a vampire book. I really only requested it because it was Silvia Moreno-Garcia, and I want to read more of her work. So this says, welcome to Mexico City, an oasis in a sea of vampires. Domingo, a lonely garbage-collecting street kid, is just trying to survive its heavily policed streets when a jaded vampire on the run swoops into his life. Adel, the descendant of Aztec blood drinkers, is smart, beautiful, and dangerous. Domingo is mesmerized. Adel needs to quickly escape from the city, far from the rival narco-vampire clan relentlessly pursuing her. Does that mean there's like drugs involved? Oh, that sounds crazy. Her plan doesn't include Domingo, but little by little, Adel finds herself warming up to the scrappy young man and his undeniable charm. As the trail of corpses stretches behind her, local cops and crime bosses both start closing in. Vampires, human cops, and criminals collide in the dark streets of Mexico City. Do Adel and Domingo even stand a chance of making it out alive? Or will the city devour them all? I guess we'll see. Oh boy, kind of like a modern vampire-y thing going on. Oh, the cover is so beautiful. And this is being published by Tor Nightfire, which is Tor's like new horror imprint. Okay, so the next arc I have on deck for this month is Autopsy, Life in the Trenches with a Forensic Pathologist in Africa. This is by Ryan Blumenthal. And this one is coming out in August. So this says, as a medical detective of the modern world, forensic pathologist Ryan Blumenthal's chief goal is to bring perpetrators to justice. He has performed thousands of autopsies which have helped bring numerous criminals to book. In Autopsy, he covers the hard lessons learnt as a rookie pathologist, as well as some of the most unusual cases he's encountered. During his career, for example, he's dealt with high-profile deaths, mass disasters, death by lightning, and people killed by African wildlife. Blumenthal takes the reader behind the scenes at the mortuary, describing a typical autopsy and the instruments of the trade. He also shares a few trade secrets, like how to establish when a suicide is more likely to be a homicide. Even though they cannot speak, the dead have a lot to say, and Blumenthal is there to listen. This is always something that I've been so interested in. One of my good friends works at a funeral home, and I'm always like, can you tell me what's going on there? Like, what's weird stuff you see and stuff like that? Which, like, she doesn't see very much weird stuff, but anyways, something I'm very interested in. I was so excited to be, that my request for this one got accepted. It's pretty short. And it's fun reading things that are told from the people who are in these careers. Okay, so these next two are books that are coming out this month, but like obviously they aren't here yet. Oh, actually, I guess this one came out at the very end of this month, like yesterday. No, today. But it's March still. I'm filming this and it's March. But I'm going to read this in April. So this is Goddess of Filth by V. Castro. I'm so excited for this one. This says, one hot summer night, best friends Lourdes, Fernanda, Ana, Perla, and Pauline hold a seance. It's all fun and games at first, but their tipsy laughter turns to terror when the flames burn straight through their prayer candles and Fernanda starts crawling toward her friends, chanting, Nahurul, the language of their Aztec ancestors. Over the next few weeks, shy, modest Fernanda starts acting strangely, smearing herself in black makeup, shredding her hands on rose thorns, sucking sin out of the mouths of guilty. The local priest is convinced it's a demon, but Lourdes begins to suspect it's something else, something far more ancient and powerful. As Father Moreno's obsession with Fernanda grows, Lourdes enlists the help of her Bruja craft crew, a professor, Dr. Camacho, to understand what is happening to her friend in this unholy tale of possession gone right. Oh my god, it sounds like it's gonna be so much fun. And another just beautiful cover. Okay, and last but not least, I'm really excited to get to Whisper Down the Lane by McLeod Chapman. I have one of his books, The Remaking, which I've meant to get to always, but that's like every single book that I own I mean to get to at some point. So this says, it's inspired by the McMartin preschool trials and the satanic panic of the 80s. And if you have not heard of the McMartin preschool trials, it is, oh my gosh, just one of the craziest stories ever, where a mother of a child going to preschool at the McMartin preschool accuses them of molesting her child, And then it like starts this chain reaction of all these parents asking their children if this has happened, and the children like falsely accusing these people of doing that. There were like, what do they call them? Like false memory recovery psychology things where they implanted accidentally like false memories, like hypnotizing these kids and badgering these kids until they gave them the answers that they wanted and stuff like that. But the story that these children told was just so incredibly unbelievable. But they said that like they were getting flushed down toilets and they were getting taken on helicopters and like moved places throughout the day, but then they would like somehow be back by the time their parents came to pick them up. Obviously, they were saying that there was like this hidden basement and they would get flushed down toilets to go to this basement, and then there were like satanic rituals going on, and like they were making the kids eat babies and just like the normal satanic panic type shit. It is really a wild story. So that's what this book is based on. It says, Richard doesn't have a past. For him, there's only the present. A new marriage to Tamara, a first chance at fatherhood to her son Elijah, and a quiet but pleasant life as an art teacher at Elijah's elementary school in Danvers, Virginia. Then the body of a rabbit, ritualistically murdered, appears on the school grounds with a birthday card for Richard tucked beneath it. Richard doesn't have a birthday, but Sean does. Sean is a 5-year-old boy who just moved to Greenville, Virginia with his mother. Like most mothers of the 1980s, she's worried about bills, childcare, putting food on the table, and an encroaching threat to American life that can take the face of anyone, a politician, a friendly neighbor, or even a teacher. When Sean's school sends a letter to the parents revealing that Sean's favorite teacher is under investigation, a white lie from Sean lights a fire that engulfs the entire nation, and Sean and his mother are left holding the match. Now 30 years later, someone is here to remind Richard that they remember what Sean did, and though Sean doesn't exist anymore, someone needs to pay the price for his lies. It sounds really tense. I really like stories about rumors that get out of hand, lies that get out of hand, kind of like Good Neighbors by Sarah Langan, which was and remains my favorite book that I've read this year. It was so good. Those are my plans for April. That's the month that it will be when I read these. Let me know if you've read any of these, of course, or if you're planning on getting to any of these new releases, or if there are any other new releases you're excited about in April. I'd love to hear about them. I always love an excuse to buy a new book. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you all later. Goodbye.